Monica and Quincy have dreamed of becoming professional basketball stars since they were kids. Monica aspired to play for the Los Angeles Lakers and wear Magic Johnson's number, 32, while Quincy wanted to follow in his father's footsteps and play for the Clippers. However, while Monica had to work hard to establish herself, Quincy was born with natural star potential. As they struggle to achieve their goals of playing professionally, they must also navigate their emotions for each other. The story is divided into 4 quarters, each one representing a different period in the lives of the protagonists. The first quarter takes place in the early 1980s and is set in Baldwin Hills, an affluent, historically black neighborhood in South Los Angeles. A young Quincy McCall meets Monica Wright shortly after her family moves in next door. Wearing a hat and having a bit of a peg-leg walk, it's not immediately obvious that the new kid on the block with a nice jump shot is a girl. Upon removing her hat to reveal her face and hair, Quincy reveals that despite his young age, he's an entitled jerk who holds surprisingly antiquated views about gender roles. The pair, along with 2 of Quincy's friends, square off for a game of 2-on-2 in the driveway. There are the expected basketball movie shots of dribbling, shooting, etc., which show that Quincy and Monica are pretty good, while the other 2 kids are scrubs who are non-factors in what becomes a game of 1-on-1. As the game winds down, Monica goes for a shot, and Quincy is so determined to beat her at any cost that he commits a flagrant foul. Quincy's push causes her to not only miss the shot, but in falling, she cuts her face, which leaves a small but visible scar on her cheek. It's around this point that we get a peek into Quincy and Monica's home lives. Quincy is the only child of a dad, Zeke, who plays professional basketball for the Los Angeles Clippers, and a mom, Nona, who is, I guess, an OG basketball wife. His father offers him a pep talk about what it means to be a man and the philosophy of not using the word can't. On a basic level, the message is to be determined at all costs and to consider respect and decency if you have time. While Zeke is somewhat famous as a basketball player, Monica's dad, Nathan, is a regular guy with a well-paying job. It seems to be something in insurance or finance. Monica's mother, Camille, is also a stay-at-home mom, but seems a bit more down-to-earth in comparison to Nona. Nathan encourages Monica's passion for basketball and seems to be fine with her being a tomboy. Camille, on the other hand, is frustrated by Monica's passion for basketball and lack of interest in feminine things. She makes somewhat unkind remarks to Monica in hopes of getting her to be more like her ultra-girly older sister, Lena. Quincy makes Monica a card as a way of apologizing, and the 2 make up, which later results in him asking her to be his girlfriend. Unclear about what their new relationship status means, he explains his understanding as they play basketball and ride to school together, and he gives her flowers when she's upset. The terms sound fair, so Monica agrees, but just moments later, when she declines to ride to school on his bike's handlebars in favor of riding her bike, the situation once again devolves into a physical altercation, thus concluding the first quarter of the story fighting in the grass. The second quarter of the story begins in 1988, when Quincy and Monica are in their senior year of high school. Both are stars on their school's basketball team, but this means different things for their social lives. Quincy is living the typical life of a popular athlete who is expected to make it to the pros. His popularity is not just evident on the court, as he is extremely popular with the ladies and could have any girl in school that he wanted, but he is still good friends and neighbors with Monica. Monica, on the other hand, struggles with her fiery emotions on the court, which often resulted in technical fouls at critical moments of games, getting benched, and eventually pushing away many potential scouting opportunities due to her lack of control. She's a passionate and aggressive player, but instead of being celebrated like Quincy, she's constantly chided for her demeanor. It's a foregone conclusion that Quincy will play basketball in college and go on to the pros, while Monica has to fight for a spot on a college team. Aside from her emotions on the court, Monica also struggles with the emotions she secretly still harbors for Quincy and struggles to express them, as he is always surrounded by other girls. It's obvious that off the court, Monica is uncomfortable in her skin and lacks confidence, but instead of stepping in to give Monica pep talks and help her navigate adolescence, Camille still makes negative comments about her lack of femininity, which leaves Monica feeling hurt and resentful of her mother for not accepting her for who she is and refuses to embrace the domestic housewife work that her mother seems to enjoy so much. Yet, Lena steadfastly has Monica's back and encourages and supports her by knowing just the right thing to say. While much of the story focuses on Monica and Quincy, there is also some attention paid to Quincy's parents and their relationship drama. Zeke, now retired from basketball, has a scouting job. This new job requires frequently attending meetings in the dead of night, much to Nona's dismay. Nona mentions him never being at home when he was in the NBA, and he still doesn't seem to make time for his family now. A big and loud argument ensues. With the 2 of them at war, Quincy grabs his stuff and crosses the yard to sleep on the floor in Monica's room. The 2 were so unfazed by the arguing and the sleeping arrangement seemed like a regular occurrence. Through soul-searching throughout the season, Monica learns to control her emotions and leads her team to the state championship game, but comes up short, leading them to a victory. She begins to recover from the defeat with the help of Lena, who gives her a makeover and even finds a college friend to take her to her spring dance. Quincy has a starting five of his own as he rotates between high school heathens who are vying to follow in his mom's footsteps and become a basketball wife. With nothing more than a new hairstyle and a dress, Monica shows up to the spring dance looking as beautiful as ever. Up to this point, the two were friendly, but seemingly had no romantic interest in or chemistry with each other. Monica temporarily stops walking like she has a wooden leg, and Quincy now has eyes for nobody else. Despite having a date of his own, Quincy immediately walks over to her to compliment her new appearance, but doesn't hesitate to comment on her date. They both show jealousy towards each other's dates and part ways. Later that night, they both speak outside her window and reveal to each other how their dates don't meet their needs. She also lets him know that she has a letter from USC and insists on him to open it. After the letter reveals that Monica has been accepted, Quincy finally vocalizes that USC was also his choice. As they move in to congratulate each other with a hug, Monica mistakes the gesture for a kiss, and that leads to them finally acting on their feelings for one another by making love to each other. It was Monica's first time. The third quarter of the story follows Quincy and Monica in their freshman year at USC in 1988 to 89, where they are managing themselves as athletes, students, and a couple. Again, the same problems seem to present themselves, this time on a bigger stage. While Quincy finds instant success on the court, as well as more and more female admirers, Monica struggles for playing time, being the backup to USC's senior guard, Cedra O'Neal. To make matters worse, she falls on the bad side of the head coach, Ellie Davis, for showing off and her lack of defense. While Quincy assumes that he will go on to play in the NBA, there is a less clear-cut path for Monica, as there was no WNBA at the time. Monica's relationship with Quincy becomes more and more strained, as Quincy struggles to deal with the media attention surrounding his father, who is trying to convince Quincy to finish college before going pro, and a paternity suit against him from a former lover. Quincy feels betrayed by his father for lying to him, and threatens to leave school for the NBA early, despite his father begging him not to sacrifice his education just to spite him. Zeke mentions that his mom was only 19 when she was pregnant with Quincy, and he wasn't ready for a family, but he stayed anyway. Monica finally earns the starting point guard spot at the end of the season. Quincy can't be happy for her because he blames her for not being there for him when he was having problems with his father. Monica is hurt deeply by Quincy, and the two go their separate ways. The fourth quarter of the story follows the characters through the early 1990s, a few years before the establishment of the WNBA. In 1993, Monica's prospects for professional basketball lay exclusively in the IWBA, the International Women's Basketball Association, while Quincy stepped into the pros at home. Monica settles into her new life in Barcelona, where she struggles to cope with the everyday grind of playing overseas away from family and friends. She misses home, but can't imagine a life that didn't include basketball. She tries to adapt to her surroundings as a local sports celebrity and the focal point of the team's offense. Monica encounters Cedra, as she is her opponent in the coming championship game. Regardless, she leads her team to a dominant victory in the championship game at the end of the season. Later, the two have dinner together, and Monica asks her if she ever thinks about going back home. Cedra points out that the alternative would be not playing, as their teammate at USC, Big Tony, quit the previous year and now works at a bookstore. Despite all her success, Monica starts to realize her love for basketball isn't the same as it was before. Having left USC after his freshman season, Quincy is now in his 5th year in the pros, trying to find a role with his new team, the Los Angeles Lakers. The moment he finally finds some playing time, he injures himself, landing awkwardly after a slam dunk and tearing his ACL. His family rushes to the hospital to be with him, but his now divorced parents still have bad blood when they see each other. Monica hears about Quincy's injury and flies home to see him. Monica visits Quincy in the hospital and is stunned to hear about his engagement and to meet his fiancée. After she meets with Quincy, Monica soon realizes that her feelings for him still exist. Monica also clashes with her mother Camille over old resentments, leading Camille to remark that she had to give up her dreams after having children, and resents Monica for not appreciating the sacrifices she made for her family. Monica counters that Camille never made her feel loved or accepted because she kept trying to force her into a stereotypical woman's role that she didn't want. Over the next few months, Quincy undergoes rehabilitation as the day of his wedding draws closer. By this time, Monica has decided to give up basketball and work at a bank with her dad. When questioned by Quincy, she states that it was no longer fun for her. Quincy does not understand, stating he never knew anyone who loved basketball as much as she did. After seeing how truly unhappy her daughter is with without basketball or Quincy in her life, Camille finally relents and encourages Monica to fight for her dreams and the man she loves. Quincy and Monica meet up and reminisce over their shared past. By this point, Quincy has recovered from his injury, and Monica finally steps up with an ultimatum. She challenges him to one final game on the court, but this time, the stakes are higher. If he loses, he calls off the wedding and chooses Monica. If not, he marries his fiancée. Monica reasons that if he loses, it would be because he let her win, which would mean that deep down he doesn't want to get married. After all, he still loves her. Quincy agrees and beats her in the game, but can no longer be apart from Monica and chooses her. The phrase double or nothing takes on a whole new meaning. The film fast forwards 2 to 3 years later, in 1998, when Monica finally went pro in the WNBA, which was established by the NBA in 1996. The movie ends with Quincy helping their baby daughter cheer on Monica during her game, where the back of her jersey is seen with the name Wright McCall, showing that Monica and Quincy got married. And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our video. Watch the next recaps on the screen, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing recaps. See you in the next one.